So now if the United States is saying the election was neither free nor fair, it means Museveni is not the legitimate president of Uganda. So no matter what other countries do, Germany, Britain, France, these are not major countries. Let's be honest. The United States is the remaining power in the world. So we have to keep pushing the United States. That statement was very good. If the United States is saying Museveni is illegitimate, we must continue treating him as illegitimate. He's not authorized to rule Uganda. He's not authorized to command the army. He's not authorized to command the police force. That's the attitude we should take toward him going forward. That's number one. Number two, there are other victories. For example, the 6 banks that withdrew from financing the oil pipeline. That's a major defeat for Museveni. And we have to make sure we go after the other banks and make sure that nobody finances that oil pipeline going to Tanzania. But even if that oil pipeline is financed, there are other ways to stop oil from flowing from Uganda to Tanzania. Nigerians have shown the world how that is done. And if you're dealing with an illegitimate regime in Uganda, there's no reason why we should not use other measures when the time comes. When the time comes. Right now, I think the strategy that's been employed is perfect. The protests in the diaspora have been very, very helpful. And that is why we are seeing these changing signals coming from the United States. Now, of course, you have to continue pushing the same thing in Europe. I just posted a link to my petition that I started on behalf of all of us in diaspora and in Uganda. And that petition calls for arms embargo on Museveni's regime. There's no reason why the West should be giving any more weapons to Museveni. Everybody knows the weapons are not used to defend Ugandans, but to kill Ugandans. Ugandans are being abducted, tortured, and killed. The whole world now knows about that because Ugandans have been protesting in Uganda and outside Uganda. The BBC covered it. The Washington Post covered it. The New York Times covered it. The Guardian covered it. Al Jazeera covered it. So nobody can pretend that they don't know what's going on in Uganda. So that is why we have to insist, stop selling weapons to Museveni. That's what the petition says. We have 8,203 signatures now. I'm hoping we get up to 10,000 or even 20,000. The petition is addressed to Joe Biden. Once we get the signatures, we're going to deliver that to the White House. I think people should not be somber. Museveni is in a desperate position. Otherwise, he would not hire Mercury LLC, the very expensive public relations firm in Washington, D.C. And I love the fact that young comrades protested outside their office a few days ago. And I think if we organize a few more protests in front of their office, they're going to drop that account and they'll drop Museveni. But if he was not in any difficulty, he would not hire Mercury LLC. You see? So he's in a very desperate position. I think sometimes we get a little bit impatient. We want to see the change immediately. Obviously, the person that should be swearing in is Bobi Wine because he won the election. But the fact that all of these other countries are even shunning Museveni, they're not coming to his swearing in. They know that his time is limited. So there are many good things working in the favor of people that want to get rid of this dictator. And I insist we think about all these positive things instead of this one-day show. What is the difference between a dictator before he swears himself in, and a dictator after he swears himself in. He's still a dictator. So yesterday, Museveni was a dictator. Today, he so-called swears in. He's still a dictator. So yesterday, we treated him like a dictator. It means tomorrow, we must continue treating him like a dictator. Nothing has changed. So there's no reason for anybody to be sad. We just have to rededicate ourselves to the struggle. And all of us here today have to promise ourselves that we will not rest until this dictator is removed. Let's do it for Ugandans who are still living and for the Ugandans who have been killed by General Museveni and the ones who are still suffering in the prisons today, being tortured. So once we make that commitment, I think Museveni will be gone. And Bobi Wine has already proven to Uganda that if you are brave, the job will be done. If Bobi Wine can put his life on the line, there's no reason why any one of us should hold back. So let's make the promise today and the commitment that we will do everything in our power to liberate Uganda so we can have a normal, functioning, peaceful country. How can you live in a country where you don't know whether your relative is going to be kidnapped tonight or kidnapped while walking in the middle of the street? And then the body is discovered somewhere in the forest. It is up to us to liberate Uganda. We must do it and we will do it. So please, brothers and sisters, stay strong and feel good. Feel good because we put him in a tight spot. We are not there yet, but we are heading in the right direction and he will be removed. So those are the few words I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Milton. Milton Alimadi, senior journalist. Thank you. Can you please reshare that link again in the chat so people can be able to sign the petition? If you can reshare it.
Yes, I'm going to post it again right now.
Yes, and if we can have it on our social media platforms, that will be really good. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Milton.
Thank you. Stay strong. All of you, stay strong.
Sure. All right. I will have another Ugandan to speak to fellow Ugandans. Can I have let me see. Stay. STE. Are you here? STE, are you here? If STE is not here, can I have Katumba Gerald? Mr. Katumba. Yes, go ahead.
Greetings to all those in Uganda and those in different countries. I greet you all, and I want to thank for this opportunity, and I want to appreciate the organizers for having organized such a great protest against the dictatorship in Uganda. I'm called Katumba Gerard. I'm a journalist by profession. You permit me not to disclose where I am due to security reasons. Of course, even currently I'm still in hiding. But I have been listening to the contribution from my comrades from different countries and different areas. And it's a fact that everybody is concerned about what's going on in Uganda. And actually, I can tell you that we need to do more. This is a revolution which cannot be completed within weeks or days or months. It can take even years. When you look at countries where revolutions have occurred, it has taken a lot of courage. It has taken a lot of time. It has taken a lot of passion So we must be passionate to our country. We must be considerate to our country so that we can liberate it. We are not fighting a president. That one we should know. We are fighting a dictator. Dictatorship, it's not something that you can fight within a week or within a month. At first, with Ugandans thought they are fighting against a president. Fighting a president is something that is very simple. You can unseat a president very easily, but it is not easy to unseat a dictator. Because when you look at what is happening in Uganda, it's like Yoweri Museveni is a stem. And when you look at him, it's like a stem which is over age that can be eliminated very easily. But the biggest problem to Uganda are the branches on that stem. So we are not fighting a single person. We're not fighting just one person. We are fighting more than 10,000 people. Because eliminating Yoweri Museveni or unseating Yoweri Museveni from power, it's not enough to liberate the country. So you have to eliminate the whole tree. So we need an overhaul liberation for Uganda. So that one does not, it takes time, it takes courage, it takes a lot of passion. So some people thought that it will be the country will be liberated within a year, or to be liberated on 14th January or any other day. And they did not think about whom they are fighting. A liberator, I mean, a dictator has so many branches that we should also fight. So I can tell you Ugandans that this is just a beginning of the revolution. Every day let it be a beginning of a revolution. So don't lose morale, don't lose hope. And when you look at the what we call revolution, it is a sudden change of power. A sudden change of power. Suddenly,
the report to the people, and people can ask questions, and the time will be approximately 5 p.m. UK for that program. It will be later announced, and then there will be more space for questions. Obviously, if there are any questions now, I can answer now, but on Friday, that program will be fully devoted to this report.
Okay, thank you so much, Nico. So we're going to try and do this slightly differently because we've got hands raised up for people who want to speak. If there's anyone who has a question specifically for Nico and would like to speak, if you raised your hand, we won't be able to pick you out from everyone else. Can you just drop it in the chat and just say question, and we will try and give you the microphone to speak. So if you have a specific question for Nico with regards to the report that he's just talked about from YouVote, please, and team, Dorcas, please, if anyone can see, for some reason my chat isn't refreshing fast enough, but if anyone has a question, just drop in the chat and say question, and we'll look you up and give you the chance to unmute yourself. Okay,
yes,
what?
Also scanning through those remarks in the chat.
Okay, fantastic.
Them there.
Thank you, Nico. So whilst we are waiting for any questions, Joseph Senyonjo, are you available? Joseph?
Yes, I am.
Hello, Joseph. Okay, I don't think we've got any questions. So, Nico, I'm going to thank you so much. But if you can still stay with us, we're here for the next few hours. Please do so. Feel free to do so. Or if you have to go, do not hesitate to go. Just remember that this is the only protest that you can carry in your pocket. So we're with you wherever you are, and you can join us from wherever you will be. Thank you so much for your contribution to the struggle and your great work. And to the team, of course, Paul, and all your comrades who have been involved in the work on YouVote. Thank you so much. Okay, Joseph, I'm going to hand over to you. Please, could you help moderate the next 45 minutes or so of contributors from the people who are so keen to speak? Over to you, Joseph.
Great. Thank you so much, David, for great work. And thank you very much, Professor. I guess there were no questions for the professor?
No, we haven't seen any questions.
Okay.
So we can just proceed with the conversations.
Thank you so much. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for making the time to be here for such an important undertaking. Exposing the dictator and protesting is illegitimate, swearing in. As we just heard from Dr. Nico, the dictator rigged everywhere. He said he rigged it even in his own polling station, his wife's polling station, the polling station near the State House, and basically everywhere in the country. And Paul mentioned the disparities, especially in North and East, whereby the patterns from one polling station to another were completely different. So we heard that the dictator lost and rigged the election. So the question is, why fighting a dictator, especially on by peaceful means? Everyone for joining us.
Of being in environment. So I would love people to come out and raise their voices non-violently, but he cannot say. So
Thank
Excellence, Robert Chagulanyi, and
this is blocking my screen. Good, thank you. Okay, guys, sorry about that. I'll take this very, very quickly. You see, what we have here is a situation of a new Uganda. We need to create our image of a new Uganda. Whatever happens, guys, do not lose hope. I think we have a winner on our side, and so we should be able to exude confidence and be able to move forward because it's a battle. So if pseudo-journalists with the pseudo-TV 2 decades and he returned no win.
I'm glad you insisted on this presentation. The 6 principles act now. Yes.
That we need to engage, that we need to confront and really get over this. Among the
stream right now to get your phones out. Because we've got specific tweets we would like you to push out for us. You know how the Twitter sphere works. The more noise, the more traffic we can get around some of these key hashtags, some of the handles and some of the messages that we're pushing out, the greater the chance of them being picked up and the greater the chance of us being able to make an impact. And this also goes out to the guys who are following us on Facebook. If you're following us on Facebook, please, 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 can you get your phones ready, because we've got tweets that we would like you to share. We will try and get the messages posted on the Uganda is Bleeding page, which is, you can find us on Facebook, which is at Stand Up Uganda on Facebook, or you can follow us on Telegram to get the tweets. We won't be able to, we can share the tweets on the videos, but you won't be able to copy them. So there's a lot of you following us on Facebook. We would love to see hundreds and hundreds of tweets going out with the tweets that we're about to share. So that message goes out to the people who are on Facebook, or alternatively, click on the links on the video stream. We've got more than enough capacity on this Zoom protest for you to come and join us and share with us your what's on your mind and participate in the Twitter session. Okay, Joseph, over to you.
Thank you so much. I hope everyone can see the screen. So the first tweet I'm going to share is a tweet with an attachment of a letter to the Secretary General of the United Nations. Antonio Guterres, because he has congratulated Museveni today, and for the Secretary General of the United Nations to congratulate the dictator is a slap in the face. We want to let them know, this is what the tweet says. Secretary General, please see attached link with letter from Ugandans upset about your congratulatory message to Uganda's dictator Museveni, who is illegitimately swearing himself in tomorrow. So that is a letter. I don't know if anyone wants to me to open it so you can see what it says, but if not, we can just tweet it. But I don't know, David, do you want me to open the letter so people see what it says, or should we just tweet it?
Yeah, you might as well open the letter. Is this, yeah, please open the letter so that we can see what we're saying.
Excellent, yeah. All right, so let's see this letter. Okay. Okay, so let me see. There was a letter someone shared me from the Secretary General. Let's see, what's that? I want to show you the Secretary General's congratulatory message. I don't know if I have it here. Someone shared it with me. I can't see it. Anyway, I won't, just trust me that he congratulated Museveni. I can't find the original letter. It wasn't in the tweet.
Joseph, just very quickly, what is your Twitter handle so that people can pick up your Twitter handle should they want to follow?
Okay, I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now.
Okay, please, thank you.
Thank you.
Carry on.
Okay, well, I have to stop sharing for a second so I can share my Twitter handle.
Yes, so for those of you who are on the Zoom stream, we'll copy the, once we get the handle, we'll copy the tweet and we'll put it on the chat so that you can copy it and send it out. Thank you.
Okay, so that's my Twitter handle, but I'll be sharing the links in the chat. So let me first share this with you. So the Secretary General, okay, so here's a letter. Oh, sorry, I can't opening it again. So it says, this is a letter. Mr. Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations. Ugandans, the African diaspora, and friends of Uganda are appalled by a congratulatory message to dictator Museveni. Despite the Partisan Electoral Commission's official declaration, Museveni overwhelmingly lost the January 2021 elections to his opponent, Member of Parliament, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. On April 16, 2021, United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken declared that the elections held in Uganda on January 14, 2021 were neither free nor fair. In February 2021, the European Union Parliament passed a resolution calling for sanctioning Uganda due to the electoral fraud, obstruction of opposition candidates, and violence by the Museveni regime. The worst incident of electoral violence was the November 18th massacre, when Ugandan security forces killed more than 100 unarmed civilians protesting the arrest of leading candidate, Honorable Member of Parliament, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, also known as Bobi Wine. The regime only acknowledged 54 deaths. Museveni publicly gloated that a special commando unit of Ugandan AMISOM troops from Somalia had killed a few of the protesters, whom he labeled subversives. According to independent tallies, Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu defeated General Museveni by 54.19% to 34.83%, but Museveni's handpicked electoral commission fraudulently declared him winner. Though Museveni is swearing himself in tomorrow, May 12, 2021, Ugandans consider Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu as the legitimate president-elect of Uganda. To preempt protests, Museveni has unleashed his Special Forces Command, led by his son Muhoozi Kainerugaba, to carry out ongoing abductions, torture, and killing of innocent Ugandans suspected of supporting Bobi Wine and his party, the National Unity Platform. On May 10, 2021, Museveni ordered security forces to surround both Honorable Chagulanyi's and Dr. Chiza Besige's homes and abducted over 50 innocent citizens. Right now, I think it was updated to 70. I don't know if I can change it here. Currently, thousands of Ugandans, including Honorable Chagulanyi's campaign team, arrested on December 30th, 2020, are languishing in jail for associating with Chagulanyi's campaign. Scores have been maimed and others killed. The scale of abuses is reminiscent of the worst of Idi Amin. Several international media, including the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Economist, the BBC, and the Guardian, have in recent months reported the regime's gross human rights abuses. And I put all the links from the New York Times, the Economist, the Washington Post, reports in the recent month about the different abuses in Uganda. And also the United Nations, the Human Rights Watch, the US State Department have reports on the abuses. And then I say, in response, the United States...
Joseph, just very
Yes?
quickly. So I think we've got the gist of the letter. We can now proceed and fire that off in confidence that if we get a response, we know what's in the letter. So thank you so much.
Okay, yeah, okay. Because they asked me to read it, but wasn't
Yeah.
almost done. Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
yeah, no, that's at least we've got the good gist of what's contained in the letter. Thank you so much.
Okay, so yeah, so just to tell you, there is also a link to the Kasese massacre, a link to the brilliant genocide in northern Uganda, and a video, and then a link to the Congo Wars, and a link on the refugee scandals. So that's what is included in the letter. So let me share the tweet in the chat. So that's the letter we're sending to the Secretary General. We are outraged that he congratulated Museveni just the day before he was supposed to be inaugurated. So, Control V.
Okay, I hope you've all got your Twitter handles ready and your Twitter accounts. Okay, so in the chat, we have got the link to the first tweet. So can you all go over to that tweet, and we should be able to see the number of retweets on that tweet increase. There's hundreds of you here, and there's hundreds of you following us on Facebook. Can we proceed to send that tweet off, and then we'll proceed to the next tweet. So the tweet is in there. Please copy that message. Go over to the tweet, and you can either retweet it, or you can quote and tweet it, or you can copy the message and post it in your own Twitter timeline. Thank you so much. Okay, right. Shall we proceed with the next tweet, Joseph? Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed. David, I don't think this is a good idea, but we had a press release to try to inform the press about our protest, but maybe it's too late to share that tweet. I don't know if it would have an impact, but I can move on to another one because I think maybe that is,
Okay. Yeah. That's
moot.
agree. Totally agree. Yeah.
Okay. So now let's see. Icon shame. Okay, there is this article on Icon, but I think it's a bit of it may be confusing people because it's a bit of a longish tweet. So let me go to another one. Okay. This tweet is.
And just for those of you who are following us, we are the Stand Up Uganda account, which is the standard Twitter account that we use for these protests, was taken down last night. So a lot of the tweets that we had drafted up were prepared, kind of went with them, but Joseph's quite kindly standing in to provide us with some really good tweets to send. So please proceed to copy that first tweet, and I think we've got another one coming up for you.
Yes, okay. So you want me to go over the next one?
Yep.
Okay. So this one is actually from an article on Observer, and I'm going to click on it so you get an idea. I'm not going to read the whole of it. But basically it says, Rugunda declares 95% manifesto implementation. So just to summarize, they had this meeting where they went over the 2016 to 2021 annual manifesto, and basically they said they were basically implemented 95% of it, which meaning that they were basically almost 100% successful in implementing the manifesto. And what did the manifesto say? It says the theme for the NRM manifesto 2016 to 2021 was steady progress, taking Uganda to modernity through jobs creation and inclusive development. And they're saying that they implemented 95%. And let me see where there's, you see, Rugunda declares 95% performance. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister of Uganda, Dr. Wakahana Rugunda, has announced that the government has delivered 95% of the commitments made in the NRM manifesto. So that was the manifesto, delivering Uganda to modernity and jobs creation and inclusive development. I mean, even a blind person can probably tell that they didn't even probably achieve 30% of that, of their manifesto. So these people have no shame. So I'm gonna share that tweet. Basically, this is the tweet. It says, I say basically, Uganda is doomed under Museveni. Prime Minister declares 95% success in implementing the regime's 2016 to 2021 manifesto. Steady progress, taking Uganda to modernity through job creation and inclusive development. That was their motto. It's amazing that donors keep funding such a regime. If the regime can't acknowledge its failure to achieve even 30% of the manifesto, it is foolhardy to expect it to develop Uganda. Why do IMF and World Bank continue lending money to such an incompetent and corrupt regime? Okay, so I'm going to share that. And I kind of like have 3 parts to it, but I'm going to share the top and then you can work with it.
Thank you so much. Can I just remind, this is a humble plea to all those of you who are on this Zoom stream. I would expect that the first tweet that we sent would have at least 100 retweets by now. There's over 100 of us here. It's the least that you can do, and that first tweet that we sent has not gone up by a significant amount. So this is the kind of action that Andrew was talking about. You have to act. It might sound small, but every little bit of action that we take contributes to the greater struggle. So can I ask you again, for the first tweet that we shared, please click on that link and retweet it. We should see that retweet, the number of retweets. That's a very key message. This is about the betrayal of Uganda by our Western partners. Okay, so yes, that's good. We can see that increasing. Those retweets should get to at least 100. So please click on that and retweet. There's 100 of you here, discounting the hundreds on Facebook, but just on the Zoom, each one of you should be able to click.
Not in the US. But anyway, subject, attending dictator. Acorns claims to support social justice, yet endorses a ruthless dictator while seeking to profit off human misery. Shameful.
Himself has just taken up himself to swear. This is a mere swearing in. We have seen a lot. A lot has happened. So many people have sworn in.
Fight until we win. Winners will always fight until we win. Where I come from, I'm a Muchiga, and Bachiga, we fight, we dig.
It's near, like spirit, like smiling is actually anyway, they have understood it. So basically now let me proceed to the next person. I think I saw someone, I wanted to pick someone in the chat room. Yes, Jonathan UG. Let me take this opportunity to call someone a man now. Jonathan, please. Thank you. You're welcome. You have 5 minutes, please. Unmute yourself. Jonathan, are you hearing me? Jonathan UG, please unmute.
I have done it, sir.
Okay, please.
I'm so glad actually to be on this platform where I've been desiring at least to air out my issues concerning the struggle with my fellow Zuhu on the struggle. Actually, I want to send my appreciations to whoever has been since from there on the day one up to now. One of my encouragements not to lose hope, not to lose hope, not to lose hope. It has not ended. Yes, we are here in our rooms crying and doing all what we can so as a way of showing our sorrow, as the dictator is the tyrant actually is imparting himself on us. We are not really pleased. So the fight should keep on as we fight his way to where he deserves to be. Because we believe, because of his acts, he doesn't belong to be among the people, because of the killing, the murder, and all that. But my main concern is there are some things which have helped the dictator to be in power, actually. If I can agree with other members, the media being corrupt. Being corrupt, that means selling their soul with all the cheap money they can afford from the dictator. I would expect on this day, where we expect to liberate our nation.
Proceed, please. Oh, sorry. It's like we are losing you, please. Like we are losing you, brother. Jonathan. David, I think Jonathan has gone off. I don't know. I think it's network issue.
Yeah, he's probably lost connection. We can proceed.
Okay, please. I think he was trying to appreciate the work people so far have done, and also voice by appreciating you guys, comrades, where people in diaspora, people back home in Uganda. Really, you are doing an amazing job. We cannot underlook that. We cannot estimate that. It's really marvelous. However, we haven't attained our victory, but very, very soon I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I think let me proceed to Madame Annette. I saw her. She raised her hand long time ago. Madame Annette, you are welcome to speak up. Uganda is bleeding. You have 5 minutes, please. You can see how you can say how you are seeing things. You are welcome, please.
Hello.
Hello.
Mumpulira.
Bulungi nnyo nyabo.
Ngenda kwogera mu Luganda.
Tekirina buzibu oba n'olusogo olusobola oba olunyankole osobola otukunkiramu.
Luganda.
Kale nyawo.
Kaakati nze ngenda kusooka neebaze ba comrades bonna olw'okupushinga omulamwa gwe tuliko ogw'okutwala dictator, era ne neebaza n'omukulembeze wange Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu omulimu gwakoze. Yeebale nnyo, yeebalire ddala kubanga atulaze kye tulina okukola, okitegeera. So ate nensaasira aba comrades nga bo olw'okuba Museveni alayidde, mbu bawulira baweddemu amaanyi, bawulira baagala kukita. Anyway, mbasaasira, naye ate ne neebuuza, omanyi waliwo omuzungu abazungu omanyi batusobera, balina obuntu bwe baleeta nga busesa. Bagamba mbu common sense is common. Common sense is not common. Ate nga ali common. Kati nze mba saagala nsekerere comrade munnange. Common sense kabeere nga ali common ewuwo. Kozesa ku common sense bannaye ekintu tukipushinze ebyaddala. Waliwo comrade munnange ankoledde olunaku, Andrew weebale nnyo, osengese bulungi ensonga ezo, weebale nnyo, weebalire ddala, ekyo kyo nkwebaza. Ne ba comrades bannange bonna abasobodde okubeerawo ku Zoom eno, kubanga buli we mubeerawo ku Zoom eno mugiweesa ekitiibwa, ate ekola ky'amaanyi nnyo. Tuba tulina amaanyi mangi nnyo, tukipushinga wala nnyo. So n'olwekyo mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala.
Tuyanziza mukyala nga tonnaba kugenda, njagala kubuuza, olowooza tuyinza kukola tutya okulaba nga what can we do to retain our victory? Tuyinza kukola ki okulaba nga tusobola okufuna obuwanguzi bwaffe buno? Nsaba okisharingako n'abannayuganda bali ku platform eno.
Kye tuyinza okukola, nze ku lwange ekintu kye tuvuze ekya online kitukoledde nnyo, kitusitudde nnyo eddoboozi lyaffe okusingira ddala byonna bye tubadde nga tujja tukola. Ekintu kya online kino tetukisuula. Twitter yeetukoledde, Facebook yeeyina weetutadde. Bannange buli asobola, oba nfukamire simanyi naye nga buli asobola gulawo Twitter yo. Tewali agenda kukubira masasi ku Twitter yo, isitule eddoboozi nga bw'osobola. Waliwo comrade ayogeddeko awo n'agamba bannange mugenda kufa kubanga ne bw'oyogera ofa ne bw'otayogera ofa, naye kirungi ofe nga oggyeeyo ekirowoozo kyo ng'okitadde ku mmeeza. Teri agenda kumanya kirowoozo kyo ng'okikwese ng'oli nakyo mundaawo. Kifulumyeyo abantu bakimanye, tulabe oba kitutwala mu maaso. Tosirika bannange, eno struggle teri kusirika. Yogera gwe kyolabanga ekitalina makulu kyogere. Tomanya kiba kirina we kigenda okututeeka. Waliwo abantu ab'ennyoma n'aganze sijja kwogera kubanga ate bwe nnaayogera kino kigenda kuba bwe kiti. Kyogere, teri gwe baateeka ku nsi nga talina mugaso. Buli omu alina omugaso ku nsi. Toyinza na kumanya oba gwe kyoleeta gwe mugaso gwe Mukama gwe yakutondera okutaasa abalala. Bannaaye twerwaneko, naye nze ndaba nga ekintu kya online kino kirina we kitutadde.
Okay, toyanza nnyo Madam Annette for your submission. Ebigambo bibadde birungi nnyo. Ogezezzaako okulaba ng'onnyonnyola abantu oba-encouraging okukozesa amagezi mazaale mu Luganda. So I would like to add my views on this, that we especially have found it especially on social media, whereby most of our comrades are so taken up by the propaganda by the regime. Everything they see, they don't think to analyze, is it hitting us or it's hitting the dictator? So they are just sharing whatever they know and whatever they don't know. So you ask them, what are you sharing? What's the authenticity? Really, it's not good. So let's first analyze things. Let's use common sense. So we shall move on. Ate ogenze maso no encouraging abantu kozesa tutor, because now tetuina mundu, as we are peaceful group which needs change, and we shall bring change without even shedding blood. So which means are we going to use, if our people back in Uganda are suppressed, so people in diaspora, let's keep on tutoring, let's use the social media to the best of our knowledge. Let's do everything. We cripple the dictator's associates, we can cripple the dictator's financial muscles. If they stop giving him donations and loans, just know that the dictator will go. If we can start boycotting him, his goods and the supermarket with his goons, these things will help us. So it's just a matter of seeing how we can do this without being like injuring ourselves. Without going on the street, we can do this. We can do a national shutdown. We can say we are not going for work. Who will remove you from your house that you should go for work? So we should do such things using our sense, and we overpower these dictators. So if you look back in the history, these things have been happening. In America, in South Africa, during the apartheid, people have been trying to do a lot of things. So yeah, let me just proceed again. I won't be the speaker of the day. Let me proceed and look for someone else. I think I saw Mr. Tekno Spark. 7P, please, you are welcome to speak up. Uganda is bleeding. Can you say something? Give out your view, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Yes. First of all, I would like to thank comrades from the different parts of the struggle they're in. And I would like to thank everyone and the moderator for giving me this opportunity to speak. I am Honorable Brian J. Mungu from Northern Uganda.
Wow, that's good from Northern. Nice to hear from you, brother.
Yeah, because let something be said. We have not been represented for a long time, but not that we are not in the struggle, all right? Now, my submission here is, I will speak for northern Uganda, all right?
Yes.
Whatever happened, I like to thank the lady who spoke and said she won't be able to make it to Trafalgar Square, and then Mr. Nico, professor there, for the submission. I would like to attest that in northern Uganda, I want everyone to categorically know that northern Uganda never voted for this Museveni. I say this with facts. I ran for Gulu West Member of Parliament, and I saw, and all these things that happened, the vote stuffing, the riggings, and the violence, mostly happened in my constituency. And I can attest that everything that was posted online about Northern is very true. Is that they stole my phone, they stole my smartphone, and that left me no way to contain the evidences. They made sure they steal my phone. During the time for the last days of my campaign, I had 3 armed men trailing me even up to my home. So why am I saying this? We are there in the struggle, and I want everyone to know that northern Uganda is very, very disappointed with the outcome of this thing. It is not like only Central and the other parts of Uganda that voted for our president, Bobi Wine. Northern Uganda voted overwhelmingly, but it is on record that even in the barracks, I have a polling station in my constituency. It's a big open playground comprising of 9 polling stations. Now, this is a polling station near a barracks. The wives, the spouses to these soldiers, one of them even called a radio station to tell that they were given just mere 10,000, and they were made to vote even more than 5 times, 3 times. And she called a radio station in my constituency. I don't know how we can get that, but I think if we could lay our hands on such evidences, it will count a lot in our struggle to regain our victory. So northern Uganda, we are very disappointed. And for us, we don't know how to talk a lot, because even when we start speaking our language, it will be like, if they get so nice now, you feel like we are quarreling, and the next thing you know is a fight. So for us, we have just had it up to here with this President Museveni, and we are not going to take him anymore. We just want action, okay? I was given 200 million shillings, and they were promising me a good job in government. A reason why they are now trailing me. I went and reported to police. Nothing was done until I had to flee for my life, to be alive but still remain in the struggle. They gave me only 4 days that you either accept this offer, the money, you go and enjoy your life somewhere and all this. Now, imagine a young man like me to reject 200 million. That 200 million could change my life, but there is more. We have, each and every Ugandan has to put in the struggle to ensure that we liberate our country from this mafia. Museveni is a mafia who has remained a tyrant in our country. He uses, Museveni has been able to retain his power by using his divide and rule tactics. You saw what almost happened to our General Secretary. And the biased media came out to even fault a lot on our General Secretary. So I think we have to be very careful with this. In however case, you people should know that northern Uganda, we are all there and we are ready for anything. We are as much in the struggle like any other part of the country. I think I do not have a lot to say. We shall always be interjecting as time goes on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my fellow comrade. Although I don't know your exact name, taking us back, but thanks. First of all, I would like to appreciate or to applaud you for being a resilient, because such a young man of our age rejecting 200 million shillings is really something which is not easily common to find. So I really urge our fellow Ugandans, the youth especially, please be have that really respect for yourself. This money is not something that will take you. Before you eat this money, think about the blood of our comrades who have died. Think about the widows who have lost their husbands. Think about the husbands who have lost their wives during the struggle. Think about the people who were killed in November before you take in money. Think about the sacrifice that our excellence has made to see that he can liberate the struggle. Think about people who are putting in there a lot, day and night, spending sleepless nights to see that the struggle moves. And also think about your next generation. You may eat the money, but what about the next generation? What will they do? So always think about that before you act. And another thing, take our greetings to people of Northern Uganda. We like them. I remember during the campaign, I think this boy, they sang a good song, which was, I don't know if you know it, that song which made a lot of good, a long, big procession. I remember the president was singing it like that, but it was a nice song. So I hope we can use it also. If you can sing it for us for just only 1 second, and we proceed. If you remember it.
I don't know that song you are meaning.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I think people have understood it. They will go back and see yeah. So anyway, let me just proceed. I think, Mr. David, let me proceed to one of my comrades in UAE people, UAE chapter, please. I saw your hand up. Please, can you come and say something, please? People Power UAE chapter.
Yes, greetings, members.
Yes, good afternoon.
Tamim Ibrahim Kagwa from the UAE.
You are most welcome, sir.
Yeah, I'm only here to appreciate whoever is here, whoever has spent his time to come and at least share a word with us. This means that to me, it gives me strength that even when we remain a few in numbers, so long as we still have the values of changing the dictator or removing the dictator, we shall still move. So many people are feeling so down. Many people see the junta swearing himself in, and they think we've really ended the struggle. But I guess those are some of the points that we would use to gain the strength of pushing this till the end, because
down after hitting posters and doing all that nonsense, and then you hit the
Ugandan for the massive mobilization.
Thank you. I'm online, Mr. Hall.
Will again experience the oppression of one by another.
Your capacity, don't say you are there, don't be a spectator, just only feeling oppressed, but you have nothing to say. Say anything, speak out your mind, speak out your words, because you get offer, you get offer. So no one of us knows our destination. So really, I would like to appreciate everyone who has been on the line. I wish you a nice day. Enjoy your souls. Stay blessed. Soldiers back home, please take care. As you know, we are running, these guys are running after us, but we know they will not finish because they don't have any plan for us. So Mr. David and the team, thanks so much. Let me just bring back the microphone to you. I think it has been an amazing day and an amazing session. Though you gave me a little hour, just a few hours, 1 hour. This time you can give me 5, I think. Thank you so much, guys.
Haruna, you might regret asking for more time, because it looks like one of the moderators we're expecting for the next session isn't around, so you might end up having to stay on a bit longer. But I think we've got Jaja Ibu saying something, but we would love to have you back on to help us moderate the remaining part if you're still available.
No, so sorry. I'm going back for work.
There you go. You see, we caught your bluff. So, but well done. Appreciate your help. Thank you for this work you're doing in the struggle. Really, really useful moderated session with a lot of feedback and encouraging input from people. Please send our regards to all our comrades in the UAE. Thank you so much, Comrade Haruna. Okay. So before we move on to the next speaker, I have been informed by the team that we have lots of people here, but we're not sure how many of you are awake. and actually involved. Remember, what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep you engaged. This is not just a talk shop, but we're hoping that you can stay engaged, you can take away ideas, and you can remain motivated as you fight and as you fight for your victory. This is not going to be a single day's activity. This is going to be going on for days, weeks, months, even years. Sometimes it may be even generational, but as long as your conviction is true and you know what you're fighting for. So we're going to give you the chance to unmute all of you. So all of you unmute yourself. I want to hear your voices. I want to hear you saying where you're calling from, where you are. Just unmute yourselves. Get that microphone and unmute yourself. I want to hear all of you unmuting yourselves. And let's see. Okay, that's good. I want to hear a bit of noise. I want to make sure that you guys are fantastic. That's good. That's what we like. Okay, now listen. People power. Our power.
People
People
power.
power.
People power.
Fantastic. NUP. Everywhere. Good. That's good. That's good to know. Now it looks like you guys are willing and ready to sing along. So let's get a bit of entertainment before we move on to the next session. I'd like to unmute you and give you the opportunity to introduce yourself and say a word or two to the people. And I believe if you're able, we can just talk about the moderating of the next session. So, Jaja Ibu, can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah.
I can.
Oh, fantastic. Jaja Ibu, welcome to Speak Up. Uganda is Bleeding, this online protest. Good to have you here. Please take some time to introduce yourself to everyone. Tell them where you're joining in from. Share your thoughts for 5 minutes. And together, if you're still available, we will moderate the next 1 hour session. Over to you, Jaja Ibu. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. David, and I greet you all, comrades, from wherever you are. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Ibrahim Sombi Vogere, and I'm commonly known as Jaja Ibu, and UP coordinator in charge of South Africa. I greet you all, comrades. I welcome you all comrades on this online demonstration. And I also want to appreciate your efforts for sparing time from whatever you need to do so that you came out and attended this online protest. Many people who do not understand the power of this protest would undermine and say we are just wasting time. There's nothing that you can do. The man is swearing himself in and stuff like that. But what I can assure you is that it is things like this, it is efforts like this that lead to the downfall of dictators like Mr. Museveni. I know that today it is a very sad day in our motherland, Uganda. Today is a day that our country is actually mourning because Ugandans went to polls on the 14th of January and elected the Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu for president of Uganda. But of course, Mr. Museveni, like always, he rigged the election. He stole the election, of course, by use of a gun, and of course, with the help of his electoral commission, and he declared himself a winner. And today, he's being sworn in as the new president or president-elect. They don't even know how to say it. Actually, I was watching one of the some parts of the inauguration ceremony before I came to this meeting. I had a chance. I think I was there like for 3 minutes, and then I was seeing one of the masters of ceremonies. The lady was struggling to how he can address Mr. Museveni as whether he's a new president or a new what. So they are struggling to find a way of addressing him, and they have been calling him a new president. And I know they are embarrassed to say new president. So they are in a very difficult position as to how they should address Mr. Museveni. So It is a very sad day in our country, but also it is a day that should remind us that we are slaves. It is a day that should remind us that we still have to fight more. It is a day that should remind us that we still have to soldier on, because we are not free until we are free. I have always been telling our comrades here in South Africa and everywhere that what is happening today, actually, some of us anticipated that it might happen, because, of course, in Uganda, there is the constitution. Within the constitution, there is provisions that would the provisions of respect for human rights, respect for democracy, respect to the will of the people. For example, Article 1, subsection 2 clearly asserts that all power in the state emanates from the people, who shall be governed through their will and consent. But we know that the way we are being governed in Uganda is not according to our will and consent. Because if it is our will, if it is indeed the will of the people, Mr. Museveni would not be swearing in today. It should be Honorable Kyagulanyi, who was duly elected by the people of Uganda. So we have the constitution, we have the laws, but the laws are just a mockery. They do not serve the people of Uganda. Mr. Museveni, it is Museveni's word against the law, and Mr. Museveni's word always prevails over the law. So it is our obligation as the citizens of Uganda to make sure we fight and instill a government that will have respect for constitutionalism, a government or a president that will look at the constitution and respect it, and not like Mr. Museveni, who will look at the constitution as just any other pick fair book that he can pluck out some papers if he finds that he's approaching the wall of his presidency. We knew that Mr. Byabakama Simon, it will be very difficult for him to come out and announce Honorable Kyagulanyi as the winner of the election. But this did not stop us from fighting, because we know that what we are fighting, we don't intend to achieve it through an election. We do not really intend to achieve it, at least, okay, I would say 30% through an election, but 70%. Actually, it should be 20% through an election, but 80% we intend to change government through people power. When I say people power, I mean the power of the people that is vested in them by our constitution, as the constitution asserts that all power belongs to the people. So we intend to cause regime change in Uganda through the power of the people, by people coming out and exercise their power, by people coming out and invoke the power that they have, that is vested in them by our constitution. So what is happening today did not shock us, does not shock us, because we knew it is going to happen. But to some of us, we knew that this will mark actually another stage in our struggle of removing dictator Museveni. I want to tell you, or to share some thoughts with you, comrades, about two things. In this life, there is what we call election, and there is what we call a revolutionary struggle. I repeat, there is what we call an election, and there is what we call a revolutionary struggle. So these two things can bring about change, but the way they bring change is different. An election, the difference between an election and a revolutionary struggle, an election has a date that is set. For example, today we are in 2021, and we know we are going to have elections in 2026. The January 14 of 2026, we shall be having the next presidential elections. And then the 16th of January 2026, the winner shall be announced. And then the 12th of May 2026, the winner shall be sworn in. That is an election. An election has a date that is already set, has a date that on this day we shall have elections, on this day the winner shall be announced, and this day the winner shall be sworn in. That is election. Now, And on the other hand, we have what we call a revolutionary struggle. A revolutionary struggle, unlike an election, a revolutionary struggle does not have a date. A revolutionary struggle is like death. All of us here, we don't know when we are going to die. Maybe some of us will die today, others will die tomorrow, or next week, or next month, or next year, or 10 years, or 20 years, or 30 years, or how many years. Nobody knows. It's only God that knows. But we wake up every day to go to work and work hard. We want to be rich. We want to have wealth. We want to have businesses, various businesses, build so many houses, have a better life and the lives of our people. But we don't know when we are going to die. That is it. The revolutionary struggle can be compared to death. So, in a revolutionary struggle, you don't know when you are going to win. You don't know when you are going to achieve your goal. But all you know is that you are going to achieve it someday, but you don't know exactly when. But also, all you need to do is to put in the effort. The effort that you put in, the more effort you put in, the more determination you put in, the more commitment you put in, it drives you closer to achieving your goal. So, in Uganda, what do we have between these two? Do we have a revolutionary struggle or do we have an election? And I will tell you that in Uganda, it is not an election, it is a revolutionary struggle. Because if it was an election, I want to tell you that today, the person that would be swearing in would not be Mr. Museveni, would be Honorable Kyagulanyi. Because we all know that Honorable Kyagulanyi won the election. If it was indeed an election in Uganda, in 2016, Museveni would not be sworn in. Museveni was not supposed to be sworn in 2016. It was supposed to be Dr. Kizza Besigye, because we all know that Dr. Kizza Besigye won the election in 2016. So, in Uganda, what we have in Uganda is not an election, even though Mr. Museveni tries to paint it as an election, for him to be able to have a good name on the international stage, that there is elections in Uganda, there is democracy in Uganda, and Ugandans every 5 years, they go to polls and elect their leader. That is what Museveni wants to paint on the international stage. But in reality, it is not democracy. In reality, what we have in Uganda is not elections. There is, in Uganda, I must tell you, comrades, that there is winning an election and there is going to State House. You win an election, but it does not guarantee you that you are going to go to State House. And you winning an election does also not guarantee that you are going to be announced as a winner. So that is not an election. I want to give you an example. For example, in the US, during the presidential elections between Biden and Donald Trump, we all saw how Donald Trump was so desperate to remain in power. He came up with so many accusations and so many lies, false propaganda, instilling propaganda within his supporters, telling his supporters that the election was rigged. He's not going to allow the outcome of the election. He is not, he even at one point incited his supporters to invade the Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. and they caused a mayhem at the Capitol Hill. It was all his words, because he was so desperate to stay in the power. You know, he even, for the first time ever, he was the first president, as long as I know, as much as I know, he was the first president that refused to congratulate the incoming president. That is how desperate Donald Trump was to stay in the power. But because of the strength of the institutions, because the institutions are so independent, because the democracy is so powerful, there is nothing that Donald Trump could do that would save him. Eventually, the power of the people prevailed. Eventually, the rule of law prevailed. Eventually, the power of democracy prevailed, and Donald Trump had to go. That is what we call an election. So in Uganda, it is not an election. It is, we are not in an election, or we were not in an election. Ours is not an election. Ours is a revolutionary struggle. We are in a revolutionary struggle, comrades. If there is anybody out there that thought that we shall perhaps remove Museveni through an election, I want to tell you, comrade, that you should rethink. Mr. Museveni is not going to go through an election. Mr. Museveni is going to go through people power, through people, through oppressed people coming together and join their hands together and say enough is enough, and drive Museveni out of power, and it forced Museveni out of power. The way it happened in Libya, the way it happened in Sudan, the way it happened in Egypt, the way it happened in Gambia. That is how Mr. Museveni is going to go. Mr. Museveni is prepared to die in power. If Mr. Museveni successfully finishes this term that he has stolen from people, he will make 40 years. And even right now, he has no intentions of even coming out and say, okay, I'm running for my last term. Because if someone is very certain of their departure, at least by now, he would have declared that I'm running for my last term, and after this term, I'm not going to run again. But he's very silent about it. This means that Mr. Museveni is not ready to go anytime soon if we continue hoping that we shall remove him through an election. We are in a revolutionary struggle, comrades. The same way, for example, here in South Africa, where I stay, South Africa is a very good lesson. South Africa has been in a situation where in which we are in today, during the times of apartheid. I must tell you that here during apartheid, blacks were segregated against. Blacks were treated like third-class citizens, but they are the rightful owners of the country. There was whites, and there was coloreds, and then there was blacks. Coloreds are this mixed blood. They have some blood of black, and they also have some white blood. Those are what we call coloreds. So white people used to be at the top, and almost all the nice suburbs in the country were occupied by white people. All good hospitals, good roads, good schools were occupied by white people. So the ones which are not so good, not so bad, those ones were occupied by coloreds. And then blacks were staying in, they call them locations. So they build something like projects. I understand in America, they call them projects. They build houses, they're more like hostels. Then they keep black people there. They're not even built nice. So they keep black people there. They take food, they provide food for them there. They were treated like refugees. For a black person to travel from those projects to go to town or to go to a nice suburb, they required a visa. They required a special permission. For example, if you are going to travel from Katanga or from Chisenyi and you want to go to Kololo or you want to go to Nakasero, you required a special permit. And there was a time when that special permit would expire. And if that permit expired while you are still in Nakasero, you would go to jail. So that is how blacks used to be treated. There was no blacks in administration. There was no blacks in nice paying jobs.
Jaja
That's how
Ibu,
blacks used to be treated.
Jaja Ibu, you've got a minute, and then we move on to other contributors. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you, what I'm trying to energize to my fellow comrades here is that what we must understand is that we are in a revolutionary struggle. The difference between a revolutionary, actually, before when I finished the point of South Africa, but it took the coming together of Black South Africans. It took the coming together of oppressed people of South Africa to say enough is enough. This is our country. We are the rightful owners of this country, and we cannot continue to be treated like slaves in our own country. And they said no. They came together, the likes of Nelson Mandela, the Robert Sobukwe, the Walter Sisulus, the Governor Mbekis, the Oliver Tambos, and they said, no, enough is enough. Of course, they paid the price. Many of them died, many of them were imprisoned, but eventually they managed to win. And now they have freedom. As I speak right now, I don't see any country, even if it is US, even if it is UK, that has rights and freedom like South Africa. I'm telling you. If there is anybody from South Africa here, will tell you, South Africans enjoy the biggest freedom that you can ever imagine. They even beat police. They can even contract. Someone comes up and blocks the road. They even beat these police officers and soldiers. Even the police is scared of the people. That is the kind of freedom that they have right now. But they could not even imagine before that they will live like this. So what I'm trying to tell you, comrades, is that the difference between an election and a revolutionary struggle does not have a date. It can be quicker, it can be longer, but it all depends on the effort that you put in as oppressed people. It depends on the determination that you put in as oppressed people. It depends on the commitment, the hard work that you put in. So what I want to encourage you, comrades, please let us not lose hope because of what is happening today in Kololo. We know we shall remove Museveni. We know Museveni is going to go. It might be today, it might be tomorrow, it might be next month. This swearing in must not demoralize us, because even the former president of Sudan, Omar el-Bashir, before he was removed the following year, the previous year he had won an election with 90% and he was sworn in. But the following year, the people of Sudan came out and rose up and they said enough is enough, and they got rid of Omar el-Bashir. So Museveni is swearing himself in today does not affect us. It should not even demoralize us. Not everybody discourage you, because we know there are some people that have this discouraging rhetoric that they tell to some of our people. Oh, musajja abalemi temuna kisobola kola, musajja huyo amaze okulayira mu biveeko and stuff like that. Let nobody demoralize you and think that now it is finished because Museveni has been sworn in. This actually marks the new phase in our struggle of removing Mr. Museveni. We are in a revolutionary struggle. We shall remove Museveni whether today or tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, but we know we shall remove Museveni through a massive people of Uganda coming up massively, through people of Uganda coming out together and say enough is enough. We can push Mr. Museveni even if it is tomorrow. So I want to encourage you, comrades, to keep fighting. I want to encourage you, comrades, wherever you are, to keep on putting in effort, to keep up the determination, to keep the faith, and know that this shall be finished. Museveni is very strong, as you might think, but nothing is stronger than people coming together. Nothing is stronger than power, than committed people, than many people. He's just one individual, of course, with a few of his bandits that are brutalizing the people of Uganda. But we are 45 million people. If we are all determined and say we are committed and say we want to go to the streets, for example, Uganda will have 45 million people. Out of 45 million people, we need only 1 million people coming to the streets and say enough is enough. I know some people are saying we must hold guns and go to the bush and stuff like that. That is all long story. We don't have time for guns. Where are we going to even to hide? People look at Mr. Museveni because in 1980, Mr. Museveni went to the bush. But by then, Uganda was full of bushes. Right now, where are you going to hide? Where are you going to base and establish your rebellion? You understand? That is a long story. We have 45 million people in Uganda. All we need is to have 1 million people rising up and stage at City Square with our placards, without stones, without sticks, without guns, without any weapon, but only with the placards with the word freedom. 1 million people out of 45 million, we know we can get rid of Mr. Museveni. That is the easiest way and the quickest way. What we need to do is to overcome our fear. We understand the obstacle that has been keeping us from our freedom is this obstacle of fear. We need to overcome our fear eventually. We need to overcome our fear sooner than later. That is the only thing. That's why Museveni is instigating this fear within our people, deploying military on the streets of Kampala, doing this marching, shouting, and saying, and coming up with these incantations to threaten our people. Please let us overcome our fear. Many of us have sacrificed our souls. We are holding these demonstrations in the diaspora. Wherever you are, even in the diaspora, please, if there is any demonstration that is taking place in your structure, attend those demonstrations. These demonstrations are working. We are trying to open the eyes of the world so that they can look at Uganda. There are so many ways that we can fight Mr. Museveni. We don't have to fight with him through arms. There are many ways. Because of these demonstrations that we have been doing, the U.S. State Department has come out and placed sanctions on some Ugandan officials. Because of this demonstration that we have been doing, just yesterday, the South African Human Rights Commission requested to have a meeting with us next week about the online the human rights violations in Uganda. It has never happened before. It has never happened. This is the first time that it is happening, that the Human Rights Commission of South Africa is requesting to meet with us so that they can engage with us concerning the violations that are taking place in Uganda. And they are willing to write to the Ugandan government and also put the Ugandan government on notice to stop having these violations. You saw the European Union coming out and condemn these violations of human rights taking place in Uganda, and also some European countries have come out and withheld the funds, funds in terms of donor funding to the government of Mr. Museveni. So please, let us engage in these demonstrations. We are opening the world. Mr. Museveni has been keeping us in the dark. He oppresses us, and he doesn't want the world to know what is taking place. So it is our obligation, especially we in the diaspora, to open the eyes of the world. Right now, we have many media houses reaching out to us. Just yesterday, I was having an interview with one media house in Johannesburg. These media houses, they are reaching out to us. They want to see what is taking place in Uganda. Now their cameras and eyes are on Uganda. It has never happened before. It is because of these demonstrations, it is because of these petitions that we come up with and petition these various offices. We petition these politicians across the world. We petition these celebrities. We petition different people of the globe. That is why you see that the government of Mr. Museveni is actually, the picture of the government of Mr. Museveni is worse than ever before. He's even paying people to try and sell Uganda outside the country or on the international stage. He's bringing on these economists, coming up with the false promises of constructing a city in Uganda. You bring in someone that is worth $80 million to establish a project that is worth $3 billion. That is all panic that is within Mr. Museveni. So let us keep pushing. We know that eventually we shall overcome and we shall remove Museveni from power. I have a belief, and you will live to see this day. I know for sure we shall get Museveni out of power. I promise you that, but we need to have commitment. We need to believe in ourselves. We need to fight hard, and we need to soldier on. Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you, Jaja Ibu. Thank you so much for your passionate words and very strong messages and encouragement and motivation to the people out there. We send our regards to comrades in South Africa who have been doing a fantastic job, and of course all the comrades right across the country. Jaja Ibu, before you leave, I've got a question for you, and it's good to see you very passionate and talking about the power of the people. One of the questions that always gets asked is, how do people overcome the fear in order to go out and protest on the streets, given the fact that the military junta is determined at whatever cost to stop any form of gathering?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. David, about that question. Of course, that is the question that everybody asks themselves. This is it is a technical question, but what I must tell you is that overcoming fear. You know, in Uganda, there is what we call Wonyigirizanye Nyindo, that the more, if you keep on pressing this nose all the time, you keep on pressing your nose, you keep on pressing your nose, eventually that nose, mucus will come out of your nose. So Mr. Museveni has oppressed us to the limit. Mr. Museveni has oppressed us to the limit, and it is, we come to a point whereby we have to ask ourselves, how long more? What more oppression can we take from this dictator? What more brutality can we take from this dictator? Martin Luther said that freedom is not granted, is not voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressor. For how long? When do we come to a point and say enough is enough? When do we say that we have had enough? We have had enough oppression. We have been subjected to enough oppression, and it is time for us to stand up and say enough is enough and get rid of oppression. So I know the fear is within us, but like we always say, if you talk, you die, and if you don't talk, you die. Many of our people have been killed, and some of them we didn't even know them. Forget about the ones that we know. Actually, the people that get killed mostly are the people that don't talk. The people that get killed mostly are the people that we don't even get to know of. The Jaja Ibus of this world, the Segirinyas of this world, the Bobi Wines of this world, the Senyonyis of this world, they rarely get killed because they know that everybody knows them. So we know there is a price that will be paid. Freedom does not come on a silver plate. There is a price. Many people have paid the price. Even here in South Africa, as I was telling you, many people died for this freedom of that the people of South Africa are enjoying today, to be able to manifest. Many people lost their lives. Many people were incarcerated. Many people were imprisoned. Many people were tortured. But eventually, they managed to win, and now they're enjoying the freedom. We know that there is fear within our people. We are human beings, of course. Every human being must have a fear. Like it is normal for someone to fear.
Basket, especially the recent victims, the Ugandans on run. It is very regrettable. We expect a statement from you regretting whatever congratulatory message you sent to General Museveni. How do you congratulate a dictator who charges civilians in the general court martial without any military background? It's very regrettable. Museveni does, I don't, Banange, we should change. I thank everyone on this Zoom. I've been on this Zoom from morning. I've had your contribution. Thank you so much, you guys. And I will always portray our anger on such media, whatever platforms. Thank you so much. Uganda and Tege Chumacha Yesu is my name.
Thank you so much, Chumacha Yesu. Thank you for your passionate plea and emotional outcry and deploring the acts of the hypocritic partners that we're working with. It's quite clear that the exposing of the hypocrites continues right from Uganda. It's flowing out to the international bodies, the international organizations, and the Western partners. We need to be able to stand for ourselves. Like someone said, I think it was Afro-Belina who said, until Ugandans stand up for themselves, the West will not move. They will always protect their interests, and their interests are protected by systems and regimes that are entrenched. And 35 years means there's such big entrenched systems for channeling and siphoning out our resources, our money, our labor to the advantage of the West. So Ugandans, please take heed. Please take heed. And I think the question around action, like we were talking about, may not necessarily mean going out onto the streets, but start thinking about how you spend your money. There's been talk about economic boycotts. Start thinking consciously about why you're going to fuel from a Total petrol station, for example. Why you in the diaspora are flying back to Uganda and you're booking an air ticket with Uganda Airlines. These are all institutions that fund the regime. So we need to start thinking about how you spend your shilling, your dollar, your pound as you voting for the system. And once we start to systematically dismantle these economic lifelines and streams that the regime has, we certainly will start seeing the regime crumble in front of our faces. But we have to be consistent. Thank you so much, Chuma Chayasu. I think we have a few more people to speak. And I think we have comrades who are gathering in London for a protest. Dorcas, Dorcas, if you can hear me. Dorcas, if you can hear me, please could you unmute yourself and join us from Trafalgar Square, where our comrades are joining in a street protest. Dorcas, if you can hear me, I hope you can. Please, could you unmute yourself?
That always confuse our brain. Elections and the advice and also caution.
Also left the country, I think.
Museveni must go. Museveni must go. Yes, David, I'll have to come back later to you. I have got some, I don't know if you can see the posters.
Our president is Robert Chagulanyi.
Are you able to see that?
Yes, yes, we can see them. Thank you so much, Dorcas, and thank you to Comrade Kato for all the work you're doing and representing us on the streets in front of Trafalgar.
Word, comrade. You're live at Uganda is bleeding.
Yes, yes, Uganda is bleeding, people. We are here shouting and calling out on all people to help.
You're live.
Uganda
Hello, you're live.
is bleeding.
You're live.
People are being killed like goats. You know, young men are slaughtered every single day. You know, mothers. I'm a grandmother. Grandmothers, we are crying. Our children are being killed. They're in prison. Imprisoned. Why? Because they are supporting Robert Chagulanyi. And the whole Uganda, 95%, we voted for Chagulanyi. Yeah? But the unfairness the unfairness of it all is the Western world is supporting Museveni. You know, they are bombarding him with dollars. You know, they are training the army. You know, they are training the army to kill people. You know, to kill people when we have no.
I think we've lost Dorcas, but Dorcas is joining us from Uganda House in Trafalgar Square, where a group of Ugandans have gone to show their disgust at the illegitimate regime and the illegal swearing in of the dictator Museveni. I think the message resonates with all we have been saying here, which is how can you spend 7 billion?
We have no hospitals, there's no schools, so what is the point? And remember, people, Museveni.
Okay, Dorcas, we're going to mute you because I think we're losing your sound for now, and we'll get back to you once we've got a better connection. Thank you for that. Okay, just very quickly, apologies, I think the lady thinks she's still speaking, but we'll move on to Karim for now. Dorcas, please, you can turn off your camera. Karim Ntambi, please unmute yourself.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone.
Hi,
Thank you
Karim.
so much, David, for staying up late. Thank you so much for the team for doing this. I'm just up. I'm ready. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for standing with Uganda. The only way we can lose this battle is if we decide that we are going to disband. This shows solidarity. This shows that we are still there. This shows that we are still moving on. I would like to encourage everyone that despite the fact that the dictator has illegally sworn himself in today, the struggle doesn't end. It has just begun. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of enemies that are around us, especially in the diaspora. We are fighting billions of Ugandan shillings, millions of dollars that is being channeled through lobby funds to keep rebranding the dictator I would like to encourage everyone in the diaspora to find offices of Mercury Public Affairs. Those are the people that we need to target. Those are the offices where we need to demonstrate. The Seven just signed a contract with them in April to make sure that they do PR for him between the period of April 22nd to May 21st. So all these newspapers that you're seeing that are painting Museveni as, as somebody who has been doing good for the past 35 years, they're being paid for. So if you're in the UK, you need to find Mercury Public Affairs. That's where, I think the headquarters are. Here in the US, this firm has offices in Washington, DC, in New Jersey, in New York, in Los Angeles, in San Francisco, in Dallas, in Chicago. If you are in one of those chapters, please make a date, let your people know. We gotta start having protests in those areas. Two, we also have to put notice to our development partners that working with a dictator is unsustainable. Here in the US, we've heard that the IMF intends to give the dictator $900 million for fighting COVID. Remember, in the last year, we received $491 million from IMF, and we received $300 million from the World Bank. We also received $15 million from the State Department, and USAID gave $10 million. All that money was channeled into the campaign. That money was channeled into brutalizing our people. The regime is still using that money to enrich themselves. And on the other hand, it is going to be your children, your grandchildren that are going to be paying that debt. We need to put a stop to this. We need to put notice. We need to hold the dictator accountable. We also have to hold our development partners accountable. We need to continue reaching out. If you are in the UK, if you are in the US, we have been doing this. Pick up the call, pick up the call and call your representatives. Let them know that Uganda is bleeding. Let them know that the dictator is using the money that is being given to vulnerable people to enrich himself and his family. This has to stop, and this has to stop with us. The action has to start with you and me, and it has to start now. The revolution has just started. The road may look a little bit tougher, but if we decide that we are going to stand together, believe me, this will be one. Thank you so much, David. I won't take too much time from the comrades who would like to speak. That has been my pitch for the day. And let us continue the fight. People power, everybody is our power.
Thank you so much, Kareem, and thank you for all the work you're doing. I'd just like to let the people who are tuned in know that if you're looking for drafted content, messages and letters, tweets, Kareem is your person. So, Kareem, both you
poisoning citizen, and somebody say, show me evidence. I think we have all that right now. And I don't think Museveni is gonna last, maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months, no. I'm asking everybody to be strong. Let us keep on doing what we do. Let us expose the dictator. Let us treat, let us call members, Ugandans in Uganda, and we prepare them, So that is my points for today, but I would like to thank everybody on the platform. I mean, let us not lose hope. Let us keep the fire burning. Uganda is bleeding, and it's hard. So that's it, my brother.
Thank you so much, Comrade Kawiye Boston. You're absolutely right. It starts with us, and we should not give up hope. Let's keep on doing everything we can. Thank you so much, and good to see you, as always, and send our regards to our comrades across the other side of the pond.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, before we go to Billy, we'll be with you in a minute. We've had someone who's been raising their hand for a while, albeit physically. Can we get Elaine Hope? Elaine Hope, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yeah, I have.
Hello, Elaine. Apologies for the issues, but you now have the microphone. Please welcome. Introduce yourself to the
I'm
people
Elaine.
on Zoom.
Yeah, all protocols held and I'm speaking from London. I am a mother and businesswoman and everything, and I'm Ghanaian, but I've been reading everything, and from what I see, the Englishman calls something called lessons learned. And there are some things that we need to learn. For example, one thing I noticed was that I think any places you need to put your
We have seen a lot of people swear.
Over, and if anything, the representation here and the people following on on Facebook are anything but. We are a very innovative, resourceful opposition, and we are going to do everything we can to catch the regime off guard to ensure that the voice of the people of Uganda is heard. Remember action. Andrew shared the action, 6 points of action. Those were things like acting now, confidence, make sure you're trainable, learn new skills, learn what you can do to help the struggle. Always present yourself and offer yourself to the struggle. We need people, we need graphic designers, we need motion capture, video editors, we need people who can craft documentation, people who can craft tweets. Your resources are needed everywhere, so please get in touch if you're involved. Always use your intuition. Remember to be organized and never ever give up. So those are the action things. For the people back home in Uganda, you may not be able to go out and protest on the streets, but capture those images, capture those recordings. We need them. The people who are lobbying, the people in the Senate, the people in the United Kingdom need that evidence. So keep capturing. You may not even, sometimes I see people complaining, why aren't people stopping abductions and instead you're covering them with cameras? Because we know what will happen if you try and intervene. But get us that footage and we will do the rest. And remember, if you're not yet on Twitter or any of the social handles, please get on and start tweeting. 5 tweets a day can keep the dictator away. Fourth thing is don't give up hope. If there's only one thing that should keep us through this struggle is the hope that you're standing for what's true, for what's just, and for what's right. So don't ever give up hope, because not only are you letting yourself down, but you're letting your generations down the line down. So think about where we are, how far we've come, and remember, do not give up hope. And keep the fire burning. Keep the fire burning means always make sure you have the struggle at the forefront of your conversations, especially you guys who are in the diaspora. Keep speaking, keep engaging to your neighbors, your friends, your colleagues. Let them know what's happening back home in Uganda. Hopefully we'll get information from Karim and the crew who will provide us with templates. If you need templates to write to your representatives, we have letters that all you need to do is just change the signature and you can send them off. We've got people sending letters to MPs, to senators. Keep engaging, keep that message going, and keep the fire burning. For one thing, once the people stand for a committed cause, they can never fail to achieve success. Okay, we are well past our closing time. I'm going to give you the chance all to unmute yourself as we stand up in respect for 1 minute. I'd like you all, you'll be all unmuted, but I'd like you to honor our colleagues who have sadly passed on as part of this struggle. We want them to remember that we will never ever forget them. And then after that 1 minute of silence, we will proceed with the national anthem and the NUP anthem. So please, all of you are unmuted. So please, let's show some respect. Stand up for 1 minute of silence for our comrades who have passed away. So let's keep that nice and quiet for 1 minute. 1 minute starts now.